Welcome to another real world review, this one on the HIMIWAY Big Dog long range electric bicycle. This baby boasts an 80-mile range on a single charge, and generally you've seen in past videos it's usually around half of that. I weigh 185 pounds, I'm 6'2", so depending on your weight it can vary, but I'm hoping we get at least 40 miles out of this. So I'm gonna pop this out of the box, give you guys a few tips on assembling it. Then we'll do some real world testing and I'll give you my honest opinion on it. Let's go. Taking a peek through the box, we can see it came very well packaged, tons of padding on there, everything's zip tied together, and despite having some box damage, there was no damage that I can see so far. And your delivery driver might be a little agitated with you because this weighs 103 pounds gross, 88 pounds net. However, this bike's rated for 400 pounds payload capacity. First tip for you, as you're cutting the foam off of everything, be extremely careful because I was using diagonal cutters and somehow snipped the wire going over to this control, and then I had to cut the little tiny wires and solder them back together, and that was a real pain in the butt. Also on these zip ties, if you cut them in the right spot, you can keep them and reuse them in the future. So yeah, just be real careful because that was, geez, I hate even showing you guys that I did that. It's terrible. Here's a quick glance at everything in the box. You got the front fender, front wheel, a charger, which is 54.6 volts at 2.8 amps. By the way, this battery is 48 volts, 20 amp hours. A nice hefty battery. You got aluminum high quality pedals, a hat. Check that out. Go ahead and try that on. Oh yeah, I like it. It's kind of like a trucker hat style. A front headlight with built-in reflector. It does have a tail light as well. The front axle, a tool for securing your pedals. Another tool that has all your Allen keys and you know, screwdrivers. Oh, some sockets in there too. Very cool. The derailleur guard, owner's manual with all your instructions for how to put it together. Of course, I'll give you some tips. First thing I'm going to do is take the keys from the handlebar, turn it right in here for the battery, and then you just flip this over. And look at that, the big berth of battery slides right out of there. Let's get this on charge. It does have an indicator right here, so a little RGB light. I guess you push that, it says it's green. As soon as I plugged it in, has a fan that came on, and we'll just wait for that red light to turn green and be fully charged. They do advertise this as a Samsung LG battery, so I'm not sure if it's just one or the other, or both cells combined inside of there, but name brand cells. We can pull our seat up and lock that out. You just slide this lever over. Wow, that was perfectly adjusted too. If you have to get it a little bit tighter, you just loosen it and then spin this to change the tension. Like any other bicycle, and now I can slide this out. Once you pull it out of the box, just kick the center stand down, and with the battery out, it balances itself perfectly. I'm sure some of you guys, your OCD's getting triggered with these hanging by the cables, but I can promise you it's not that heavy. You can't mix up the pedals since the right side's right-hand threaded and the left side is lefty-tighty. So spin that to the left to snug it down, and then grab your 15mm and tighten it. Nice and snug. They even print that on the arms for you. For the handlebars, remove all four 4mm Allen bolts, and then position this so it's forward. Bring your bars up, carefully making sure that the wires are all routed properly. Reinstall the cap. You'll want to run these down all evenly so we have even gaps on the top and the bottom of the clamp. Make sure the bars are centered this way, and then don't fully snug them down yet. Leave them a little bit loose so we can position the bars later. To install the front wheel, you're going to take your axle with the thick spacer and slide it in on this side of the wheel. Slide that all the way through, and then take the thinner spacer, put it right here, put the washer on, turn the nut on maybe just a couple turns. Same on the other side. Now we can take this spacer and hit it out of there with a mallet or your hand, and when you're sliding this on, make sure the brake rotor just goes in between the two brake pads. That went on with these. Should look just like this. You got the washer and nuts on the outside, the spacers on the inside, and even threads, not more threads showing on one side or the other. Then you're gonna go ahead and push down on it to seat it and secure your nuts. The axle nut torque spec is 15 to 22 Newton meters, but before you go cranking on this, tightening it, make sure that it spins freely. Snug it down a little bit, still spins freely, because you don't want to destroy or hurt the bearings, but I'm just going good and tight on it. And then slide your axle nut caps on. Both the front fender and the front light get held on by this one single bolt, which, by the way, all the hardware I've encountered so far has been stainless steel. It's really nice to see. stainless steel washers, bolt and nut. The instructions, hopefully you can see this okay, but they show it going on the front, and I didn't really like that. So I went bolt with no washer. I put it behind, and that way it kind of gives a little bit more stability sitting on this flat surface back here. Then thick washer, fender, thin washer, and nut. And that worked out very well. On these rods though, the instructions kind of didn't specify if they want the rod in between here or on the outside. And in between makes most sense, but you're gonna, unless you put a spacer in there, you're gonna get a little bit of rattle back and forth. So if that bothers you, just get stainless steel washers to put inside of there, or put these on the outside. But then it kind of doesn't look very symmetrical and it's pushing these out. So that seems to be the best way. For the headlight and reflector adjustment, you just have a Phillips with an 8mm nut. I didn't even have to tweak mine. I was able to just move it and then plug it in right here. The derailleur guard, you just remove these two 4mm Allens and go ahead and install that. At this point, we can do a final adjustment on the seat and position the bars. Once you have the bars set comfortably, snug down those 4 mils the rest of the way. And if you want any angle adjustment on the seat, there is a what looks like a 6mm Allen underneath. You loosen that. Mine's actually stripped for some reason, but I don't have to even tweak with that. It's right where it should be for me. Snug down the 2.5mm on the controls clamp, and what I just did is go over every nut and bolt on this entire bike. I didn't find any loose ones, but it's always a good idea to do that. I showed you how to charge the battery. This is the charge port for when the battery is installed. You see it uses the same port, but it's just a little cap there. And as I'm going over this bike, I'm thinking, man, this is really nice build quality. Like, look at all these welds on the aluminum heavy duty frame. I mean, this is just beautiful work. You got the mounts up here for an optional luggage rack in the future you can add. And yeah, overall just really nice build quality, and I can't wait to take it for a ride. Don't forget to set your tire pressure too. The sidewalls say 5 to 30 psi. I'm going to set them up at 30. That way all you got to do is bring a pressure gauge with you when you go for a ride and drop them down if need be. These come with Kenda Crusades puncture resistant tire casing. Woo, look at that center stand action. Try out the front forks. Oh, they feel nice. Now you do have adjustability right here. Just twist the dial, and if you go full clockwise, that locks them out, which I really like that they have a lockout feature on them. Don't forget to check your brake adjustments too. You see how I can squeeze this one down to the bar? You'll want to snug that. So you do have micro adjustments up here, but it's better to come right down at the caliper, loosen this hex, and just pull that taut a little bit. You don't want to make them too tight, but how the other side is, you should be able to grab it with one finger, pull it as tight as you can, and not be hitting the bar, as I guess a general rule of thumb. You got an adjustment right here you could use too, but those are kind of just micro adjustments. You set your main adjustment by loosening this, pulling the cable through. I love that it doesn't have hydraulic disc brakes, because I always have problems with those, and the mechanical linkage ones, it's just so much easier to adjust it, fix it, and not have any issues. Next day, we're gonna do the full electric, no pedal assist range test. See, we got the green light for go, fully charged on the battery. And let's see, if you flip this around, and as I showed you before, you press this, it shows us green on the indicator. That means it's fully charged, shows. So anywhere from 60 to fully charged, because yellow, if you press that, means 40 to 60% power. You guys probably can't read this during GoPro. And then red on the battery means 40% or less. So it would be nice if it had a percentage indicator on there, but sometimes those aren't so precise. To put it on the bike, let's see if I can do this one hand, holding the camera. Go ahead and slide her into place. Look at that. It clicked in automatically. Flip your key, and that was, look at that action. I mean, that's incredible. All right, let's hit the road. To turn the bike on, you simply hold the power button for, I guess it's seen about 2 or 3 seconds. We're fired up. Shows 1.6 miles. I took this for a little spin around the block last night. I had this on no pedal assist right now, and I ran through all 7 gears, didn't have to make any adjustments, and it runs through them all just fine. So you could cruise around without power at all if you want to. It actually pedals really nice. So if you choose to pedal it like a regular bike, even if you grab the half twist throttle right here, not going to do anything for you until you hit this positive. You hit that once, and you see we went to gear 1. Now as I was pedaling, it just kind of kicked in very abruptly, actually. So that's one thing I can say. I mean, I took it for one mile ride last night, and it's, I mean, as soon as you go to start pedaling, it kind of jumps in very quickly, so you got to be ready. You have 5 assist levels, but if I leave it on number 1, I can basically effortlessly pedal doing 12 miles an hour. It's not hard at all. However, if you grab the throttle, now I got full power whenever I need it. Let's see what our top speed is going up this hill. It's like a very slight little hill in the neighborhood. That brought us right up to 21 mile an hour, no problem. So you can cycle through this and run all the way up to number 5 power assist, and then as you pedal, it's got a lot more power, and I mean, you effortlessly do 20 miles an hour. However, the one big flaw I'll say is when I'm pedaling, watch this, like I'm doing 20, if I stop pedaling, it still goes for probably a solid almost second before it stops accelerating. So without even doing a big ride, I mean, hopefully you guys can see this, what I'm talking about. If I pedal right now a little bit, all right, boom, it's accelerating, I stop. You hear that? You hear that delay? So I don't really like the delay from when you're pedaling. It takes a solid second or 2 for the power assist to kill off. And you guys would definitely notice that when you ride this. Now, that being said, if you're pedal assisting and then you go to ease on the brakes at any point, it kills the power assist immediately. So that's good. If you leave it on pedal assist number 1 though, you're not pedaling, you're just using the throttle as I am with my right hand. When you snap off, it's instantaneous. It takes a minute to kick on, but see, when I snap off, it kills the motor immediately. And then when I roll on, it takes maybe like, that's probably about 2 seconds before the power assist is in full go. So what we're gonna do now is just hold this pinned with 0 pedal assist, unless I really need to somewhere. And we're gonna see how far it goes, see what the range is. I just set the map my run on my phone as well. So we're going from Trenton, possibly to Asbury Park Beach. We'll see, that's about 47 miles. I don't think it'll make it that far, but we're gonna just hold it pinned and see how far we can go. Wish me luck, and I highly suggest putting a helmet on would be the safe bet. Don't be stupid like me. Wear a helmet. Speedometer, we're showing 21.5 and GPS speed an actual 21 mile an hour. So it's nice to see a speedometer that's not exaggerated. Motor cruising around up there. He's having a good old time. Nice. We're now over 20 miles in and things are going well. A few items I'd like to mention though. So as I was talking earlier, if you have this on gear 0, no power assist, I don't like that you can't use the throttle at all. You do have to throw it on number 1. And as I kind of been I'm gonna try to show you in the video here, but it's just not very natural feeling, we'll call it. See, as I start to pedal, I'm in gear 4, power assist 1, and as I start to go, there's nothing, no power assist, and then boom, it just kind of just rips off and takes you going almost like full power, but then of course slows down, keeps you at that 10, 11 mile an hour. If I do the same thing but with power assist number 5, here's how that goes. No power, I'm pedaling and then it just gets you going, and it will bring you all the way up to 21 miles an hour. So interestingly enough though, even if I go to, I leave it in gear number 1, it doesn't matter. Look, we're holding 21, and all I have to do is keep these pedals rotating. As long as you don't stop rotating them for more than like a second or 2, if you stop, and it just keeps you at this pace. So even if I go all the way to gear 1 or gear 7, it doesn't matter. It keeps you here. But that's actually become a good thing, because in the first maybe 10 miles, I was using no pedal at all and just holding this throttle. And your hand gets extremely tired. So I kind of wish there was a cruise control function on this, because if you try to hold this down for 10, 15 minutes, it's pretty stiff and you're gonna get a cramp holding this quarter or a half twist, whatever it is. That being said, I've been kind of alternating between using the hand throttle when I want to stand on my feet, give my butt a rest, or just kind of pedaling like this, which I'm not actually giving it any power. I'm just keeping them rotating. And now something else worth noting is I wish this had some top gears, like a 21 speed maybe, because the fastest I can get this going is really 25, 26 miles an hour. And to do that, you see how quick I'm pedaling to go? Well, actually, I get this on max speed. There's my current speed. So as I give it all I got pedaling, there's 22, yeah, 20, almost 23. I hit 27 before, but that was going down a hill. I mean, you're just pedaling so darn fast to get that. So you pretty much just settle on keeping the rotation going and holding that 21, which even after hitting a few slight inclines, it holds that speed no problem. And you see this power indicator, I don't know if you can see that, but it fluctuates from 1 bar to 5 bars. And so when you hit a hill, it'll go up to 5 bars, letting you know that you're taking max power to do what you're doing. And we're only about 24 miles in. You can see we're down to 2 bars now. So I'm not sure it's gonna make it. I did want to show you, I have had the light on the whole time too. You just press that once, light goes on and off, and actually dims the screen a little bit when you do that. When you turn the light off, it gets brighter. So it thinks it's nighttime when it's on. This bike does have excellent geometry too. I cracked open a cold beverage, just cruising along here. It stays straight, it turns well. It has swift and calculated control even when your hands are not on the bar, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Gas time, 489. Don't need none of that. I totally forgot to tell you about the bell too. Perfect. I'll be giving it a good durability test too. We'll get at least 100 rings. I'll let you know if it holds up. You see, the main problem with the gears not being high enough is I'm down to 1 bar, and I'd really like to make it the last 15 miles. Of course, we're doing power only, but if I really wanted to, if you start pedaling trying to keep that 21 mile an hour, because I'm kind of in a rush too, I can't really give it much power at all. So your only option is to really bump down the power assist to maybe level 3, and then you can give it a good amount of thrust, but you're not doing 21 anymore. You're maybe going to be doing 16, 17, and then you're using leg power to keep it there. I would say on the flats that pedal assist number 3 is just a perfect blend of using power from your legs and the power from the motor. It's pretty easy to keep 16, but you're still working for it. We're now at the 40-mile mark. I think we started at 1.6, right? Yeah, so we're at 41.7, and she's getting ready to throw in the towel. I'm on power assist 5, full throttle. Showing 1 bar on the battery, but it's, as you can see, it's just gradually slowing down, and that kind of just happened all of a sudden. It wasn't, I mean, it held that 21 mile an hour the entire time, and then in the last quarter mile started slowing down. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of pedal assist, see how this works out. No, that's pretty much it. All power assist is just about gone unless I give it a break, but it did stall right in front of this, like a biker bar kind of place, Tom's Tavern. I'd say it kind of blends in with all the Harleys sitting out front. So, that was a friendly little place to stop in for a quick brew. And what I'm going to do now is go ahead and take the front wheel off, handlebars, pedals, because Jen is actually passing through. We're going to be heading to Asbury Park, so I'm kind of on the way there. And we'll see if this fits in the Civic. There she is. The little 2-door Civic. Look at that, fits like a glove. Can't beat it. So. And we made it to the beach. Not by full electric power, but we made it. Why? Why is the water? Is this the end of the world? What is this? Gus, where are you going? Where are you going, buddy? You burrowing? Next day, and I'm ready to close this out, give you some final thoughts. I did go ahead and take it around the block, went maybe a quarter mile before it was down to doing only 3-4 miles an hour. So this battery's definitely toasted. It needs to be charged up is all, but when you press this button, it's still showing green. It's actually more like a green-yellow, so I'm gonna say that indicator is not working properly. So I will go ahead and plug this in, and I'll let you know right here how many hours that takes to fully charge. I know this video had a ton of talking in it, and I apologize if it got a little boring for you. This is kind of just an information video giving you all my thoughts on this bike. Something I didn't mention yesterday is this chain. No problems with it, but when you're going over bumps, it kind of is making that jingle noise, and that's just it hitting this chain guard right here. So nothing to be alarmed or worried about. The front suspension handled all the bumps and rough roads with ease. I like that it's a hardtail, one less thing to worry about, and gives you a nice rigid ride. I did hit a few inclines on this, and it had no problem keeping that 21 miles an hour, but there will be future videos where I take this on other adventures and really put it to a much more enduring test. A few other things I'd like to mention. I love that this comes factory with the rack. Of course, you can get a bigger one too, but that really gets the job done. The 16-inch wheels made it really easy to put this in the back of the Civic. Of course, I popped the front one off and folded the bars down, but it still fit right in there. I love the fact that it comes with a brake light, headlight. However, I do wish it came with maybe a cup holder, a cell phone holder, and a few of the other necessary accessories on a bicycle. The bell is a nice touch though. And even though we didn't get the advertised 60 to 80 mile range out of it, I was thoroughly impressed with the 40 miles under full electric power, especially being 6'2", 185 pounds. No doubt in my mind that if I was pedaling, keeping it around 16 miles an hour, we could have easily got 60, 70, maybe even 80 miles out of it. I'll have to find out in the future for sure though. Throughout the video, I've mentioned a few things that could maybe use improvement, but overall, I am thoroughly impressed with this, and I think for the average person that buys this bike, you're gonna be just thoroughly impressed as well. It's got a lot of bang for the buck. A 40-mile range is double anything else I already have, including the Varla scooter that I only get about maybe 20 miles out of it. So this is a solid electric bike, and I give it a giant thumbs up. I'll drop a link to it down below if you want to buy one. And otherwise, I just want to thank you very much for checking this video out. Hopefully the information was helpful to you if you're in the market for a HIMIWAY big dog. And I know we didn't go over every little feature, function, but covered majority of it, and that's my honest opinion. I love it. It's great. I'm gonna ride the heck out of it. And like usual, at the end of the video, I'm gonna flip through the owner's manual. You can just pause it and, you know, zoom in if you need to see any of this kind of stuff. Hopefully it does it justice. I'll try to just, I guess, show you the important pages. I'm gonna kind of rush through it because it's a pretty long manual actually. Here's your dimensions. There you go. Again, keep saying it, but you can just pause to view all your specs right there. And then this is the assembly guide. This camera's hopefully getting a decent image of it. All the torque specs. This is the Galaxy S22 I'm using right now. So if it looks crummy, that's why. Let me just be quiet. Oh, sorry about that. Seat adjustment, pretty self-explanatory. Just kind of flying through this. It's weird, on my phone, the letters look a little weird, kind of blurry, like it's trying to transform them or something. So, if it didn't come out good, it didn't come out good. It's putting like beauty on the font. Blurring the lines on your face, you know. That's what it seems like it could be doing. I don't have beauty face on, so I'm not sure what's up with that. Synthesized camera. I'm just gonna keep rambling, guys. Sorry. I should have just taken a picture of each page. Threw them all up like that. Of course, that's more work than this. We are almost there. I mean, a lot of this is just super self-explanatory. And I probably just showed you a few pages and it would have been fine, but you know, some of you guys might not have this manual. I don't know if they had this online. I'm guessing they probably do. Flies going on my legs. Pedal assist, throttle only, pedal only, riding limitations, parking and transport, carrying loads and cargo. And that's it.